Hello, hello. Welcome to day 8. Today is January 22nd, 2025 of the Global Prayer and Healing Community Gathering. I woke up today not knowing how to start the call or lead the call, and so I meditated. I asked Spirit and God to give me guidance, and I was still not hearing anything. And so I went to use my cards. I just got these Oracle cards, the Soul Coaching, and I asked that what is the collective need? What is the collective looking for? What would really help and support the collective that is feeling maybe still hopeless, maybe still unsure, maybe there's still fear there? And so I shuffled the deck and I got Simplicity, was the first one I got. And I read what it shared about it, and I was just like, oh my God, this is perfect. And it says, do what matters and release the rest to find peace, grace, and stillness. Clear internal and external clutter. And then I said, is there anything else that you want to share? And I cut the deck and I got freedom. And so that inspired me to do a guided meditation and a prayer, and also talk to you about what freedom looks like. And so first I want to welcome you here today. And just take a moment to take a breath in with me. And then release what's no longer serving you, and release any heaviness, any doubt, any pain, anything that is not serving you, so that we can be together here, united in one heart, united in love and in peace. And also take just 1 minute to send a personal prayer out to anybody that you might know who is currently suffering, who is struggling, and extend your love and your light to them. Maybe it's a collective, maybe it's your neighborhood, maybe it's the nation, maybe it's the world, maybe it's for you. Thank you. So as I think of freedom, there are so many different types of freedom. There's spiritual freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom. There's so many different ways. And I thought sharing with you pathways to freedom and what that looks like, I would be, I think, supportive to start here. So, freedom is not just a destination. And I think we talked about this last week and yesterday too. It's a journey of self-discovery and intentional living. And the pathways to freedom begin with self-awareness, understanding who you are. What do you value? And what truly, truly matters to you? It requires the courage to let go of what is no longer serving you, whether it's a toxic relationship, limiting beliefs, or maybe even societal expectations, cultural expectations. Taking responsibility for your choices empowers you to create a life aligned with your deepest desires, while compassion and forgiveness will liberate your heart from resentment and pain. Freedom also flourishes in authenticity. I think we've talked about that word this week too. When you live true to yourself without fear of judgment or conformity, there's power there. So ultimately, freedom is about finding peace within, embracing love, and choosing to live with purpose. And it's a choice. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And I think a couple people said that this week as well. So stepping forward each day with intention, grace, and the belief that you are worthy of a life where your soul feels free. Isn't that beautiful? And it begins with a choice. And I asked, like, what steps? And I have this deck too, Act Daily card deck. And it says 52 ways to stay present and live your values using acceptance and commitment therapy. And I also was shuffling the deck, asking, like, what else? What else can I add to this? And it brought up values. And I know for me, I've been disconnected with my values. I think values also evolve over time. When you start to evolve, your values start shifting a little bit. And so I wanted to just read what this card says. It says, focus on what really matters. And that was what the other deck gave me as well. So major life events can sometimes remind us what we care most about. It's possible to reconnect with what we care about, and at any time, and most of the time, our values boil down to love. Take a moment to remind yourself of what you care most dearly about. And how can you act from a place of love today? What a beautiful message. And as we come on the 8th day, on the hump day, it's a good time to sit and reflect, how the beginning of the week started and how you want the week to end. And the moment here is when we pause. Wednesday's a good day to pause and just connect with yourself and say, am I living in my values this week? Were my actions aligned with my vision and my values? And is your vision attached to your values? And vice versa. So it's a good time to just sit and be in stillness. And so I wanted to do a quick prayer. And it's a prayer for freedom. It's a prayer so that we could fill our hearts with love. And so if you can just close your eyes with me, if you feel comfortable. And I ask, divine source of love and light, we come before you with open hearts, seeking the gift of freedom, not only in our outer lives, but deep within our souls. Free us from the chains of fear, doubt, and limitation that hold us back from living fully and authentically. Help us to release the weight of past hurts, the burdens of guilt, and the shadows of regret, so we may walk forward with lightness and grace. Grant us the courage to embrace our truth, to honor our unique path, and to live boldly in alignment with our highest purpose. May we remember that true freedom comes not from control, but from surrender. Surrendering to your love, your guidance, and the infinite possibilities of life. Help us to see that we are all connected, that the freedom we seek for ourselves is also a gift we can offer to others. May we act with compassion, kindness, and justice, creating a world where everyone has a chance to thrive. Fill our hearts with peace, our minds with clarity, and our spirits with strength. Guide us to walk each day in the light of your love, free to be who we are meant to be, and free to share that love with the world. And with that, I say amen. Whew, I don't know about you, but I got whole body chills a few times during that prayer. And then take this prayer with you and hold it dear in your heart, and then extend it out into the world. So we've talked about energy medicine, essential oils, guided meditation, how to stay balanced. Because if you're too masculine energy or feminine divine energy, you're going to cast a shadow in your life. And we also talked about how to anchor back to yourself. And I'm so excited to have Tilamai again here today to do a longer prayer for us and a longer healing ceremony for us. So I'm so honored to have her back. And we also talked about positive mindset, growth mindset, abundance, steps to healing grief. And I hope that you do take a lot of these and take notes and then implement them in your life. You don't know if they work until you try them. So I invite you to try them, to try some of these techniques that you might have not heard of before, that you might have looked at before from a distance and go, what are that? It looks crazy. What are they doing? But there's a reason why there are so many people in the world now implementing these techniques in your life, in their lives, because they're powerful, they're effective, and there's no contraindications with them. So when everything else feels like nothing's working, the doctors are telling you you're crazy, it's all in your head, no one can find anything wrong with you, you've had talk therapy for 20, 30 years and you still feel like you're in the same space, I just invite you to get curious about trying some of these, because your mind is very powerful. What you believe and what you focus on will expand and get bigger. So what you resist will persist. And so it's all about focusing on the things that you do want, not that you don't want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on the things that you do want, that you want to create, the experiences that you want to have, the blessings and the beauty that you choose to find during times of grief, during times of devastation, during times of sorrow and fear. Choose to see the light. And don't do it alone. You have a community of people who care about you, who love you, who will hold you and hold space for you. Reach out, because you're not alone. I'm here. The people that have been here all week for 8 days, they're here. And there's so many more out there if you just choose to look and choose to receive. And there are times when, for me, it doesn't come easily, right? I was stuck in fear. I was stuck with abandonment issues. I didn't feel good enough. And for the longest time, I felt that I was alone. And I kept saying, nobody cares about me. And I kept declaring that. And so my experience was that I was receiving that. But the truth is, I am loved. The truth is, I do have people here who care about me, and I'm not alone. And when I chose life, when I realized that my pain was my purpose, that it was through my pain that I can find my purpose, that I realized that so many people out there are struggling, so many women especially. And I say women especially because women and children are like dear to me in my heart. Like, it's my passion, and I want to help support women and children in the world who feel this way, because there's so many who are choosing to not be here anymore because the pain is too much. And so when I was sitting there asking and praying, why am I still feeling so much pain? Why am I so alone? Why? I heard that voice say, it's not about you. And with that, I realized that if I can get my ish together and choose life and choose to get help and not do it alone, that there is a purpose for me to help others. And that empowered me. But I gotta tell you, I still felt broken many times because I was like, I have the awareness, but why am I still making the same decisions and the same choices? And why do I still feel the same patterns? And I would get dark and down on myself again. But then I realized it's a journey. It's not a one and done, and I'm breaking old patterns. So just being okay that it's a process, right? Progress, not perfection. And with each step that I took forward, I might have taken 2 back, but I was still moving forward. And it was the act of giving myself grace every time I stumble allows me not to move back anymore. Like now when I feel that I come across resistance, I lean in and I go, okay, there's something here for me to learn. There's something here for me that's going to serve me and the collective. And knowing that it was okay if I did it wrong the first time, I just knew that there was something there for me to grow and learn. My relationship with my husband is shifting. My relationship with my children have shifted. They come to me and they say, Mom, you're so relaxed now. You're not as, I don't know, I guess, inconsistent. And when I do lose my temper or my patience, I come back and I apologize if I say or do anything that is out of alignment with who and what I want to be in the world for them. And so what I ended up doing is I come to them and I go, hey, listen, when I said this, I'm so sorry. Like, I want you to know how much I love you. I was not in a space to hear you at that time, and I should have asked you nicely to give me space. Whatever it is. And I think it means more when you clean it up. Like when you go to a restaurant and they mess up the order or there's horrible service, but then they clean it up and they make you feel like, oh, we love you so much, you need to come back and this is what we're going to make it right. We'll do anything to make it right. Like that kind of customer service, you're like, wow, they really cared about me to clean it up, and I'm definitely coming back. And you probably are going to end up referring them and talking about this restaurant to your friends and family because of how you felt leaving the space. Or you meet someone and you're having a bad day, or you have a friend who you guys have a blowout, and then you come back later and you have a clearing conversation. Like that just solidifies your connection even deeper. So it goes the same with you. It goes the same with you. You get to do that to yourself and for yourself, because it really starts to bring you more into your true authentic self, because you are going to feel free and safe to share your truth. And it's all about boundaries. Like, do you know what your boundaries are? And boundaries are not a moat or a wall that you put up against yourself or your heart. It really, what I heard Brene Brown say was that boundaries are treating yourself with the same respect that you treat others. So, for instance, just expressing like, hey, I get that you're upset, but talking to me like that, I'm not going to listen. Don't use that tone with me. Don't be cruel with me, to me. I did nothing wrong. I will listen to you if you speak to me, not at me. And then just being clear and set about them, but not mean and rude, right? Because you want your information to land. You want people to hear you. And if you come from a space of truth and love, your words will impact, your words will land. So to kind of help ground us in simplicity and grace and peace, I wanted to do a quick guided meditation for us. And then I'm so happy to introduce Tilamai Ponder with us right after that. So I just want you to get comfortable, find a comfortable position. You can be either sitting down or lying down. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and allow yourself to settle down in this moment. I'm going to share my audio, and I'm going to play a song from my friend Billy Mallory. This one's called Possible Bliss. So bring your attention to your breath, the gentle rhythm that connects you to the here and now. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, imagine releasing all the noise, distraction, and external clutter surrounding you. Breathe in simplicity and breathe out chaos. Repeat silently to yourself, I am here. I am present. I am enough. Feel your body softening, your mind being your spirit finding rest in the simplicity of this moment. Imagine yourself standing in a beautiful open space. With your hands, you're holding a heavy bag filled with worries, distractions, that no longer serve you. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently place the bag on the ground. Feel the weight lifting in your shoulders, your arms, your heart. Visualize walking away from that bag, lighter. I release what no longer serves me. I let go of grace. Now bring to mind one or two things that truly matter to you. Things that bring you joy. Keep these priorities shining brightly. Allowing it think I went through that meditation a little faster than I'd like. But I guess I'm just so excited to have our next speaker come up. And give me 2 seconds. How are you guys feeling after that? Do you feel like you're settling into your body? Hold on, I'm hearing. Stop sharing. Is that better? I'm trying to figure out why I'm having an echo. Okay, yes, it stopped. Yay. Okay. So, I have here with us today a very special guest speaker with us who was here last week. And like I said, she was so gracious to come back again. And I'm just so thrilled to experience her work and her healing and be in the space of her heart and light. So I'm so thrilled to introduce Tilamai Ponder. She's a transformational teacher and healer who blends ancient wisdom with modern science to guide individuals toward authentic living. Rooted in her Polynesian lineage of healers and wayfinders, her transformative framework, the Mana Blueprint, unlocks soul codes, aligns with true purpose, and activates the intuitive guidance system, also known as IGS, to navigate life with clarity and confidence. Tilamai is passionate about helping others anchor in their inner truth, self-source safety, and create an abundant, purposeful life, regardless of external conditions. What a perfect experience with what we talked about earlier. Please help me welcome Tilamai.
Hi, aloha everybody, hello. Whether you are listening here with us or you are listening where you are at another time, it's all this beautiful co-created experience. Thank you, Margarita. Thank you for following your inspiration to open this platform. And the most, I think, courageous thing any of us can do is to follow our inspiration, because we have sort of a bias against moving towards things that aren't yet tangible. We might have caught a vision internally, felt something or seen something, but if it's not yet in this time and space, I think it's the most courageous thing we can do. So, and look what happens, you're able to really broadcast this incredible transmission. So thank you for that. Well, as you know, I'm loving my book I got for Christmas someone gave me, and I'm going to start again with this. So stop me when I flip through the pages. We're going to be inspired how to be more tree to begin with. All right. See, my mission is to get myself out of my compulsive overthinking brain. So this gets me out of there. Okay. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, okay. This is Life is All About the Small Wonders. This is acai palm. I had never even heard of that tree. Ever noticed how a simple act of kindness can feel like the sun coming out in your day? Small joys and the sharing of them is the secret to a happier life. Take the acai palm. It thrives deep in the heart of the complex ecosystem of the Amazon rainforest and makes its mission to share the love. It attracts over 200 different types of insects with its lovely pollen and its beautiful and super nutritious deep purple berries, providing dinner for lots of birds, reptiles, and other living things in search of goodness. It's all about the small wonders. I love it. So, like you, Margarita, today, I have invited myself to be way more intuitive in my life, to be noticing more prompts and to act on them. So thank you for your bravery. It's also giving me permission, because I feel like that's what happens when we step into our bravery, is that we are the permission slip for others. And so I also hadn't prepared something today. I was really inspired what you were saying about freedom, about values. And I find all the freedom in the world by living from my values. That's my big lesson in my 6th decade of life. I have learned, for me, everyone has a different set point, but I have learned, for me, my happy set point is to be anchored deeply in my values. And that makes me feel so free. I used to think like putting parameters was the recipe for feeling limited and feeling trapped and stuck. And it's, for me, turned out to be completely opposite. So really knowing my values and what truly the essence of who I am, and living through those and lining up with that has opened up everything in my life. And what's moved for me is to speak on this topic of choosing change. And this came through this past, has it been a week and change, with this LA fires and so many things happening in the world that feel out of our control. Big events happening yesterday, just many things that have caused, I think, a lot of people to feel unsettled. And that can happen, but it happens less when we're anchored deeply and rooted in our values and the essence of who we are. And the thing is, obviously, we all know that change is inevitable, but it's somehow something that we vehemently resist. Like, our core wiring is really geared towards resisting change. And I'm excited to see my daughter has joined. This is Tihani. Yes, she's also a healer and a wayfinder. We also co-facilitate things together. I'm so happy she joined. But I was thinking about how our survival mind, that sort of reptilian part of our brain that's kept us alive for thousands of years, is so programmed to resist change, because it's how we feel safe, because it's what's known. And so anything that is coming at us sideways, that's not expected and obviously not preferred, we can't even move towards, even our visions, even respond and act upon inspiration, because it's unknown and therefore unsafe, and it involves risk. That's kind of that old wiring. It gets all like activated. And it's also a threat to our ego, because our ego needs to be in charge and it needs to solve problems. So it wants to stay in the problem and the lack and the limitation, because we can always find ways to overthink and obsess on how we're going to fix that. Because it allows the ego to bathe in this illusion of control, right? So these are these old habits. But what it means for our human is that we're over here trying to grow and expand and be inspired and ascend. And at the same time, we have this unconscious programming that is avoiding that at all costs, right? So it's literally like pushing the brakes and the gas at the same time, I always say. And the reality is, like, we can consciously choose change while also embracing all of the things that are not in our control, maybe that we even don't prefer. And I'm going to tell you how I really have seen people effectively do this in a few minutes. But I first was thinking, while you were talking, Marguerite, and you were doing the meditation, how so many of us are motivated, and it's our nature, our literal wiring is about avoiding this pain, right? But if we look at what happens, sometimes if that's our preset, then it's helpful to also look at what is the outcome of following that path. And I know we can all, if you had a certain number of years on the planet, you can look back and say, wow, I cannot believe I chose those things. Now, with this perspective, I can see how unwise that was, or how painful that was, and we can extract all the wisdom and learnings. But still, would we ever choose that circumstance, or choose that, make that choice in reaction to that circumstance? Almost never, right? We would do it different, even if we did it the same. But what happens when we don't choose change from this conscious place? Change chooses us. right? And this is when life gets hard. I'm sure we can all share those war stories. And it's because we inevitably suffer. We suffer because we are resisting and we're not acknowledging and not surrendering and accepting what it is. So first we don't choose the change, then change comes and finds us, chooses us, spins our life around, and then we go into our natural response when our world is being rocked is like, why is this happening? Who's to blame? How can I make it stop? I mean, it's always still external, right? Because we're still in that lower consciousness. And still in this illusion that we had everything perfectly controlled and something happened and that's wrong, someone needs to stop it. And it all makes sense. And especially when natural disasters happen, I mean, we are really thrown in a state of panic, and we learn that lesson about Mother Nature. She is in charge. It's hard to learn all these things and relearn and relearn. And so sometimes I often think about choosing the change and weighing that, the cost benefit analysis, weighing, am I going to have less pain if I choose this change, or am I going to feel, some kind of relief by surrendering? Your brain kind of does that calculation. It's like a little negotiation that happens, it's like a whole little process. Now, what happens when change outside of natural disasters, but when change finds us, right? It's usually motivated by organizations or people that have decided to create change, and it works to their benefit, right? It's in line with their agenda. And it's astounding when you think about people who have power over unenlightened people and the way that they're not motivated to wake the people that are under their control up. They are not motivated to do that, right? But what happens is when we do wake ourselves up from this dream state, this trance state, this follow the leader game, we no longer ask for permission. We no longer ask for power. We just take it because we know it's ours. We know the power is from within us. And that's the difference when we choose change. Even if it's an unwanted, unpreferred situation, it's devastating, there is always the invitation to see that change is also here as a result of whatever that situation was, right? So government leaders who design policies that serve their agenda, these are bosses who suddenly switch up our terms of our employment on us. We get laid off because it's end of year and they need to seek more profits for their own bonuses and to satisfy shareholders. These are romantic partners who switch it all up on us and start, changing their behavior. Everything is about change, changing their behavior because they don't want to have a conversation. Economic downturns that radically change our situations. These are life events, illnesses, accidents, business failure. I mean, it's constant change, change, change. Doesn't it seem ludicrous then for us to seek this need to control and avoid change? It really does. But then the question is often, how do we start making that change, right? How, when we have this natural programming? So it got me thinking, Margarita, while you were doing your meditation, just about all these things and how sometimes we can even create these lives that feel very good and safe, and we know the outcome and it's a good outcome, but somehow there's lacking this like spontaneity. Even it's lacking even the unknown and the thrill of like waking up and wondering what's going to happen. And we've really tamped all that down because we have leaned so much into safety and wrapped ourselves and shrouded ourselves in these routines and these walls, and now we're safe. And then Mother Nature comes along or things happen, right? So the idea is to start to think about, how can we actually choose change in the face of this natural disaster, for example, right? And we start by recognizing first, what is that feeling? What are we all feeling when we say we're feeling lost and hopeless and overwhelmed and empty and despondent? All these natural feelings, these big feelings we've all been walking around with in this short time. Acknowledging that, and just pick one feeling right now as you're listening. Pick one. What's that overriding feeling you've been feeling? Maybe it's sadness, sadness for people who have like lost so much. And we've all seen the videos and all those kinds of things that's just baking that feeling into us. Like we feel so sad, normal. Now we follow that feeling and we see what belief it's linked to. In situations like this, I feel sad. That's the emotion because I believe this person who's lost their home and everything in it is devastated. And you keep following that. And what does that mean? And what does that mean? What does that mean? And ultimately, something like that is going to lead us to believe that they're going to struggle, that they're going to be unsafe now, that they're going to have a hard, all kinds of hardship, and that they'll never get those things back. It's all of that compound effect, but it starts with the feeling. So first we honor the feeling. We say, yeah, it's normal that I would feel sad. And we take all the rest of where that trail goes. And then we find that belief and we pin it. And we say, is that true though? Is that true that this person necessarily is going to be worse off and will not recover for this and will never, find this kind of happiness or security again? Is that true? Do I know that for a fact? And of course, it's not a fact because we don't know that outcome. Another possible outcome, though, is one that comes from love. So in the direction of choosing change, what we do is we tune into the love that's inside of us, the love that we're made from, the love that comes from source, God, divine, universe, mana, higher consciousness. It's that pervasive source of love that flows not just through us and brings this feeling state and can hold all of the feelings, the great paradox of love. It can hold these feelings of sadness and overwhelm and feeling lost. And it can also hold this knowingness that everything that comes from this unknown place that catches us sideways is also offering up an invitation of change. It could be change for the better. It could not maybe in that immediate moment, but we can tune ourselves into the love. I call it my love lens. And I call it placing a love dart on the heart of all of those people that I'm feeling sad for, or feeling worried for, feeling anxious for. I just tune into the love in my heart and I transmit this feeling of well-being and just overall knowledge and a deep assuredness that this is going to pass. This person has these incredible resources and resilience that's going to, come their way, that's going to make a new path for them. And I place that love dart on their heart. I literally see a thread that's going from my heart filled with love, and like a love dart, I place that on their heart and I infuse. I don't have to know the person. I can even hear of them. I can hear their name. I can hear about their situation. But that's the first way that I know we can make this powerful change, is to wake ourselves up from this trance state of fear, right? That's the first change we can choose, is to wake ourselves up and take our power and really align with this eternal love that really can hold everything, and then start sending that broadcast of pure love to anyone that we also recognize is suffering, and have the compassion for their suffering while we offer this conduit of love. So choosing love over all, that's the first most powerful thing we can choose, so that when change happens, we can lean into that change, knowing we don't have to feel our own fear, our own destabilization. We don't have to fear that if we look at it, we see it and we acknowledge it, and it looks really tough. We don't have to fear any of that. We don't have to get lost in it. We can anchor ourselves in our love, knowing that this is the actual force that is going to overcome all. So that's, for me, how I don't resist change, and I get less surprised by change. So the theme of choosing change is what came through, because anytime I have resisted change, it's like The life does a pebble, and then it does stones, and then does the brick wall. I mean, it will absolutely get your attention until you're forced to surrender to the event, whatever that event is. And then things get so much better, lighter, freer, and you feel the possibilities, the endless possibilities of everything when we begin to choose the change that is offered from that experience. Because we no longer feel a threat. We feel absolutely no risk from leaning into that because we're tuned so deeply to this inner instrument that is our constant source of love. And the knowingness that everything, there is divine patterns in all the chaos, right? So that's kind of the way that I can switch it up on myself. And I'm grateful for platforms like this because we're here to kind of be that mirror for each other and remind each other that we can acknowledge the difficulty, and it's not a bypass, it's not toxic positivity, it's acknowledgement of everything that is. That's the first thing. The second is like, oh, what that brings up for me. Yeah, I feel that feeling. Got you. Wonder why, though, I have that intense feeling. It's not happening to me. What is that feeling about? It's going to tie into some experience that we've had at another time when, oh my gosh, when something happens like this, it's going to be horrible. Let's all just commit to seeing other possibilities instantly in this now moment. Not, 5-10 years from now. No, right now, there is a whole, better, more connected, more loving, more inclusive LA. Right now in this moment, that's what also exists. While the other one exists, because love holds all the things. And since we're love, we're holding all the things. And so since change is constant, reality of life, when we resist change, we resist life. And that means we resist love. So it's just a way to kind of reframe everything that we're sort of looking at, and knowing that this, the paradox of love is that the idea of like, I love my children, but sometimes they make me feel like running away. I love my parents, but I'm really angry at some of the things that happened in my childhood. I love my partner, but man, I can't stand some of the things they do. Like, love can hold all of those things also, right? So choosing change, even when we don't prefer their circumstances, is still possible by being in our state of love at all times. Right. And so also I was thinking the idea of like with this disaster with LA, also now with the possibility of change, can we be better prepared to respond to similar disasters and avoid unnecessary loss, right? Can we address now issues of insurance companies that are canceling unfairly policies without warning, Can we create more equitable opportunities for home ownership? Because particularly in Altadena, that was an area where Black families were first allowed to purchase and own their own homes. So first and second generations have owned that home and now are gone for third generations who assumed they were going to inherit this home. And nothing should be so hard. We should create equitable homeownership opportunities so that it's not just as privileged people that now get to take all the toys and make new things with all the toys. Like, is there an opportunity to have those deep conversations? So these are the things that I kind of focus on and think, okay, there's a lot here to pick apart. But this idea of choosing the change feels also soothes my reptilian brain and need to be in control and in charge of saying, okay, this is where we are. This is what it is. And I see that there are opportunities to even come out in some kind of better way. And I'm going to choose that opportunity for the change, even though I hate the situation. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. So that's the thought, choosing change. Yeah. So looking at my time, I've got a little bit of time. I would also like to offer a creative visualization, and I would like us to start by opening our mana portals. And I invite us to put our palms together. And we're going to start by creating a little bit of heat and just rubbing your hands together intentionally. And this is bringing our awareness With our slow breaths, we're going to regulate our hearts and minds, bringing this heat and breathing in by 2 counts. Exhaling by 4 slowly through your pursed lips. Again. One last time. Just rub your hands faster to add more heat. And now just hold them slightly apart and feel the warmth and the energy as you bring your attention now to a warm white light that is just cascading from above your head, spilling now down on top of your head and over your shoulders and down the front, across your torso, down your legs, your calves curling around your toes where you sit up the back of your calves, your legs, your back, your spine being bathed in this warm light as it goes up the back of your neck, over the top of your head, washing gently, warmly over your front, across your arms and into your palms. Press them together now, capturing this light, this source energy, and place your palms over each other and then over your heart. Just press your heart to anchor in this feeling, this connection that is now within you. Take some deep breaths. And now just empty your mind. We will empty our minds and open our hearts. And on this third eye, you will see the screen of your life, just an empty screen that has various things coming across the screen, these leftover thoughts. But you are becoming open and empty, and everything on this screen will just float off and into a basket that's sitting near the door of the room where you are. And allow that screen to become open as you become empty. And open your heart, pressing one more time with your palms. And I want you to imagine right now that you are walking down an empty road. This is a nice later day afternoon with the warm breeze. It's a very open road as you're walking along, and you begin to see a fork in the road as you approach a few steps more. And maybe you're not sure, should you go to the left, should you go to the right, and just suddenly see a beautiful big bird, a giant bird that's approaching you, and it invites you to hop on its back with its beautiful big wings, and it will intuit where to take you. And you climb on top of this giant, beautiful white bird and just wrap your arms around its neck as it begins to ascend and float forward. And now with its wings spread, you also, as you lean forward, just open your arms wide. Right now where you sit, open your arms and feel you also have these wings to fly as you float forward, and just look down, seeing this path, this incredible path with different things happening below. And just now cross your hands back over your heart to press and feel yourself instructing this bird to just place you softly down on the ground as you begin to float downwards and touch down now, and see that you are at an earlier time in your childhood, sometime maybe before 8, maybe you're 6, 5. Feel that you know where you are. And also notice that there is someone there, a young person, who now turns to you. And you see that it is you, this younger you. And as you are on the ground and approach the younger you, you feel drawn to just kneel down in front of your younger you and place your foreheads together with your noses touching, and allow the younger you to download the wisdom from this moment in your timeline. Something happened here, something that was maybe difficult, something that confused you, maybe questions that were unanswered. And allow yourself to know now what you knew then. Allow yourself to know the truth of what no one else could tell you, but you knew. What is that truth? Choose that truth now. This knowingness, this truth. Is it the truth of who you really are, regardless of what is not being affirmed? Is it knowing that you are loved as you are, who you are, without having to earn or prove anything? Is it a deep knowingness that you are safe and you are free and everything is fine inside yourself? Choose that knowingness and that truth now. Take a deep breath. And invite your younger self to join you on this beautiful big bird as you both climb on with your little person in front of you and you holding your little you as you begin to ascend and go further down this road forward, enjoying the warm rush of the wind, the feeling of freedom and safety at the same time. It's an amazing feeling right now. And as you look down, your little you points now towards the ground. Maybe a little later time in your life, you're going to float down to that moment. Maybe it's sometime in your teenage years, young adult. And as you get off this beautiful bird and your younger you both stand next to this moment in your timeline, you see what is a little bit older person turn towards the two of you. This is your teenage you. And holding the hand of your little person, your little you will now kneel down, all of you, and place your foreheads together, your noses touching, your arms around each other, and allow this teenage you to download the codes, the truth, the knowledge that they have for you. They have been holding this for such a long time. Feel the truth and choose it now. And feel the surge of energy that comes through your body like electricity And feel it now extending through your hand as you're holding the hand of your younger self, like a circle and a current of an incredible energy going through all three of you. This is the truth that you claim now. Choose it. And just press your heart to anchor in this feeling too. And now, with the three of you going to jump on this giant bird that can hold all of you, you're all going to ride and just float up to the sky and just feel yourself catapulting forward until a time in the recent past. Maybe this was a few months ago. Maybe this was just a few weeks ago. Very recent. And notice how they are both pointing to the ground as you begin to descend. You feel good approaching this moment that might have felt heavy before, but not now. Now you have the codes of who you really are. You know the true essence of your being. And as you all three jump onto the ground and approach, there is this you, this recent you, but an older you. Even from this moment, it's an older you. Turn to you all. And as you all just huddle together again, wrapping arms around each other, putting your foreheads and noses together in a huddle, feel now the codes coming from this collective, downloading into the you that is now. What was the truth of that situation that felt heavy before? Maybe it was doubt, but what is the truth now? Know for yourself now, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Know what you know and choose it now. Take a deep breath, feeling the warmth as it moves through your body like a tree trunk, its energy pushing its nutrients from its trunk all the way down through the roots so that other life can begin. You have more than enough inside of you to constantly bring life. Feel that now. Take a deep breath. And now you will go by yourself back onto the bird's back, and with full love in your heart, and you begin to ascend, you know that you take every bit of knowledge and wisdom where you go. All of you is with you now. And now as you begin to make a big arc and turn on this beautiful big bird with your arms extended, you don't even know the difference between you and the bird. You are both free, powerful, and flying to your destiny as you return to that flight path where you were, that fork in the road. And now allow yourself to go down the second path. This is a direction that is unknown. And decide for yourself as you fly along, this is your present and future. This is your now powerful moment with everything you know about yourself. Where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? Take yourself there now. And now you are hovering over this new place, this new experience, and just allow yourself to descend. And as you hop off your magic bird, you stand in this new place as this new self with everything that you are. And look who is there, what is happening here. How are you feeling? Feel that incredible feeling of being at home, of being anchored and rooted, but with wings to fly in this new moment. Feel that now. And feel the others that are with you now. Tune in to the little one who has downloaded those codes. Are they happy that you're here? Are they telling you they always knew you were going to be here? They believed in you, and here you are. And that teenage you who had deep, deep knowledge from other timelines that might have been filled with doubt on one hand, but inside always knew the true essence of you. Feel each of them now in you here. And now hop back on this beautiful magic bird and see as you're ascending just an incredible open road in front of you. And notice that there isn't a need to have to see everything. And almost a complete joy of not knowing everything. And now take a big swooping turn on your magic bird as you make your way back to the fork in the road. And as you're almost back, you see a third path. What is this? This is something you hadn't seen before when you were on the ground, but you can see it now. What is this new path? Go down that path now as you fly on your magic bird. See what you're seeing here. What kind of unexpected things are you noticing? What kind of things that might be beyond a comfort zone, might be beyond the permission that even this new you is familiar with? And notice, even though it's something brand new, even something not of your human design, it feels perfectly designed nonetheless. And just notice, are there people, experiences? What is your wildest dreams that you see now down below you? Think big. Think beyond what you could have even chosen for yourself on that last path, and allow yourself to start descending in your favorite spot. Just pick a spot. They're all good. And as you descend, just notice this feeling of complete safety and freedom as you touch down on this surprise, unknown path that is destined for you. Where are you? What is happening here? What is here for you? How do you feel right now, having taken this unknown path? And I want you to think of, if there were a color you would associate with this feeling of following your intuition to explore this unknown, undefined path. What color would it be? If there were a feeling, like a tangible feeling, would it feel like the ocean? What would that feel like right now? What color would it be? What would it feel like? And I want you to think of one other time as you tune into your young self, your teen self. Think of another time when you might have felt this same feeling of just taking a leap, knowing 1,000% that you were being held, that you couldn't fail, that it was going to be amazing, like you're feeling right now. What was that time when you were very young, when you trusted yourself? What was that time when you were a teenager and you talked to yourself, your real self, because nobody else would listen and you knew the truth? Listen to all of you right now and feel the similarity between those times of knowingness and this time right now. Trusting yourself, knowing what you know, choosing change even though you don't know what it's going to look like. You are rewiring your brain map right now, fusing change with infinite potential, fusing change with positivity and light, fusing change with even more and even better. This is your new belief system. You know it because you're here. You've always known it. And now take a deep breath, just anchoring in this feeling state with this color just on your screen, this beautiful color, what that is for you. Remembering how you have known this feeling before and placing it somewhere in your body where it lives right now. Is it in your chest? Is it in your belly? Where is this feeling going to live for you when you call this feeling back anytime? And now you will get back on your magic bird. And as you begin to ascend, just take your arms and extend them all the way out and feel the beautiful warm wind as you are flying through this beautiful sky. Take a deep breath and feel this feeling of power, knowingness, and freedom of choice. Choosing yourself. And just take a deep breath. Just place your hands over your heart while I offer a Hawaiian chant. No hoana ke kakua I ka nā hele hele. I aila I ai e ke kioho e ka koko. E nā kino malui talani. Malui e hoe. E haula mai ana o laka I kona mai hau. O mako. O makono ai. E noho ana ke aku I ka nā hele hele. I ai la e ke kua ihu ai e koko. E nā kinu malu I Tailani, malu e hoe. E haula mai ana e o laka I kona mai kau. O mako, o makono ai. Noho ana ke akua. This oli is for our ancestors and the gods who dwell in the forest, hidden by the mists, by the low-lying rainbow. In the skies, we ask to clear our paths of any troubles, any obstacles that are the illusion that is not ours. And when you feel comfortable, you may come back. So this moment is for us to tune into our warrior's heart, our fierce, fierce knowingness of who we are, and the acceptance. Remember, not the resistance, but the acceptance of choosing now, changing our belief system to the knowingness. Because belief, faith, and trust is different than knowingness. So we are choosing to know what we have always known to be true about us. And that is the source. That's the constant. That is with or without a home. That's with or without a relationship, regardless of our bank accounts, our credits, our cars, or whatever. That is what is real. That's what's constant. And that's what we actually can rely on and go back to and return to over and over again to create everything that we want in our life. We do not need permission. We are the permission slip. So we are giving ourselves permission to step beyond these illusions of power. And we no longer need to be in a trance state and to be waken up by those who are holding power. We are taking the power because it is our divine right. It is ours. True power lies within. That's the only power that we ever need to tap into. That's where everything is born and built and lives from that. So I don't know if anyone wants to tell me how you're feeling. Share something.
Yes, sure. Am I hearing myself? Hold on. Hello? I don't understand.
I can hear you, yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. It makes no sense. Okay. Do you hear an echo?
A slight one, maybe, a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah. But while you're adjusting that, I would also like to, if she's still on here, T Honey, are you still here? Oh, did she left? Okay. Oh, thank you. Both have another. Got you. I was going to invite her to also offer. She's incredible healing modality around sound and music. But yeah, I don't know what's coming up for you.
Yes,
Yes, it
well,
will.
let me turn this down.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much
for that
for that
beautiful
beautiful
visualization.
visualization.
And
And
there was
there was
something
something you
that
said
is
is
the
the
wholeness
wholeness
are like
are like
it was
it
just
was just
something
something
about
about
seeing
seeing
myself
myself
and
and
knowing
knowing
that
that
always
always
known
known
that
that
I am
I am
enough.
enough.
Always known
Always
I'm
known I'm
loved
loved
because
because
somewhere
somewhere
along
along
the
the
lines I
lines I
made
made
to
to
not
not
stand
stand
firm.
firm.
And
And
so
so
I've done
I've done
energetic work
intergenical work
before,
before,
but
but
the way
the
that
way
you
that you
um,
um,
facilitating
facilitating
it was
it
just
was just
beautiful.
beautiful.
Putting your
Putting your
foreheads
foreheads
together
together
really
really
touched me,
touched me,
my soul,
soul,
and
and
there were
there were
things
things
still
still
there
there
that
that
I
I
release.
release.
So
So
thank you.
thank you.
I
I
found
found
myself
myself
yawning
yawning and
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 that's
that's
usually
usually
for me
for me
validation.
validation.
Energy is
Energy is
healing and
healing and
seeing.
seeing.
Said a
Said
lot
a
of
lot
really
of really
good things. I
things.
made
I
some
made some
about
about
choosing
choosing
love
love
all and
and lead,
um, choosing
choosing
change and
change
not
and not
resistance, and
and
waking
waking
ourselves
ourselves
up to
to
pick back
pick
your
back
power
your power
of
of
love
love
and
and
compassion.
compassion.
And
And
I
I
remember
remember
people used to always say,
always
"I
say,
don't
I
know what
don't know
there's
what there's
something
something
about
about
you.
you. I just
You're so
you're
joyful
so
and
joyful and
of spirit. I just
spirit. I
love
just love
around." And
and
for
for
some
some
reason,
reason
this
this
moment
moment
did that for
that for
me.
me.
I
I
remember
remember
my
my
true
true
light
light
and my
and
true
my true
purpose.
purpose.
So
So
thank you for
thank you
that.
for
It's
that. It's
really
really
empowering, and
empowering,
I
and
have
I
now
have no
clarity
clarity
on
on
how to
how
move
to
forward
move forward
in
in
my
my
vision
vision
for how
for
to
how to
support
support
people in the
people in the
world.
world.
And
And
I'm
I'm
still
still
feeling the
feeling the
lightness
lightness
of it
of it
and
and
also
also
for
for
ground.
ground.
But I
But
know
I
that I
know that I
can fly.
fly.
I've
I've
always been able
always
to
been able
fly.
to fly.
And
And
I
I
my own
my
way.
own way.
So thank
So
you for
thank you
giving
for
that
giving
back
that
to
back to
me.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's thank you. I mean, it's always I always feel super moved tying into vision and experience. I experience it for myself, so I appreciate always being able to facilitate because it's always like it's the flow of energy. So, um, yeah, I think I like to focus on helping people not try to get rid of things, just like allow it to be here. And when a feeling comes up, I don't know if I said it last time, but literally just taking your hand, and placing the feeling in your hand and catching the feeling, like instead of, as moms, partners, I would get very busy. I'm going to clean, I'm going to do things, I'm going to, and then the feeling's gone. But when the feeling rises, it's here. Just place the feeling. I catch it with my hand and I place it over my heart and I place the other one over my belly and I just hold it. I just hold the feeling. I just hold the feeling. And I just say, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm loved. And I say that in myself. It's just never going to leave us, really. It's just a constant. And it took me the longest time to realize, like, it's not like, oh, I've been in therapy so much. Oh, I thought I worked through this. How many books do I have? And all this kind of stuff. Um, Actually, what's delaying it is trying to get rid of it instead of just actually seeing it. As like, wow, what an incredible gift of seeing, actually a gift of sight and a gift of being able to really see deeply and feel deeply, and integrating it, embodying it, just like pulling it in, not making it a shadowy thing and just making it like, oh, there you are, come on over here, not the split off part that has to hide, that's not shiny. Whether it's our partners that like, oh, she's doing that thing again, or whoever it was, that made us feel like, oh, I should be over this by now. If it's still coming up, you're not over it. And I honestly just feel it's always, soul just speaking to us. There are gifts that our younger self, our teen self, our 20s, however old we are, even yesterday's self, just wisdom that that version of me has downloaded. Like, why would I ever want to turn away from that wisdom? That's the gold. Like, I don't care if she's crying. I don't care if she's mad. She's doing that thing. It's like, it's okay. She probably has a reason for feeling like, I'm just, come here. I got you. I got you. So that's helped me kind of create that separation between the judgment, that happens. It's only the judgment that makes us feel any kind of shame or blame. It's otherwise we wouldn't care. I don't mind it for you. I'm sure you don't mind it for me. But when we think about ourselves, we're like, I should be over that by now. Yeah, and it's just a question of like befriending all of these parts and allowing them all, as they say, falling in love is collecting all these broken off parts of ourselves and bringing them home. And that's what it is when we fall in love with ourselves, when we fully love ourselves and we are literally loving ourselves. We do that for ourselves, just the way we do with our children or whatever, like, oh, let me help you with this. Let me support you this way. Let me make this better. Well, we really get to do that for ourselves when we really commit to it. And I always say, like, it's the most loving thing we can do and gift we can give others is to really fully be within our self-love. And we can also never be more dangerous than when we are not self-caring. We're not practicing stuff. We're very dangerous. The toxic, caretaking, the codependency, all the manipulation and everything that comes out of everything because we're not caring for ourselves and we're not coming from overflow. So everything is like the anger and resentment of like, my time, my resources, my youth, whatever it is that we see as like a finite supply of something, whereas when we're in our, full love and worth and self-care is like, it's limitless. None of it like is ever a quantity. It's limitless. So I always kind of like do that with myself now. When something comes up, I'm like, that exercise always helps me reconnect with where I might have split off something and left a part of me behind. I feel like they know. All those parts of us know everything. Didn't you feel like when you were younger, like, oh, I completely knew the truth about those situations?
Yes. You trusted
Trusted
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, deep inside ourselves, we really always knew, right? Because we were so close to the ground, like we hadn't gotten far away from ourselves yet. We always kind of knew. You kind of like have this look on your face like, who put these people in charge of me? They're so lost.
I love that you kind of what is talked about with feeling yourself as a parent because both nowadays continuing right? Because the love that you have happens pretty long. It's hard for you to that's why you don't.
Yeah.
And so that about breaking your confidence and standing against what you love and it's about business itself.
Yeah. That part. You're going in and out a little bit, but that part, the forgiveness piece is really the most powerful in the Ho'oponopono process. It's sort of the bookends are like gratitude and forgiveness, which it seems easy, the gratitude part. And it's funny how much it isn't our natural default because we're always looking at what's missing. What could be better, FOMO, it's like, what's going on over there? How come everyone's having more of that? Where's mine, So it's hard to remember to be grateful, but the forgiveness piece is I think the hardest piece of that is the self-forgiveness. I can quicker forgive something and someone than I am to forgive myself for having experienced it, even if it was like, wow, that was not even my bad. That was like, but then all that shame and blame, the self-blame, like, why did I allow that? Why did I, so that's useful to make the inquiry, obviously, because we're always co-creating things. But then that forgiveness piece is really tricky, I find, for myself. It's easier to give others grace. And so I love what you said about, I call it pulling it back. I can pull anything back just because it's another moment in a timeline. My only power is actually in this moment. So when I work with people and they're like, oh, I really regret, like, why don't you just pull that back? Let's just rewrite that. What would you have preferred to have happened? So we really experience the fullness of like, yes, with all the, sight that I have now, I would do it like this, or I would say that, or I would not do that, or whatever. I'm like, okay, feel into that. Let's live that out. Let's role play that. Da, da, da. And it's amazing how we can heal it. And I was like, is there any actual action that you can take if it's someone who's still alive? Do you want to reach out? If it's not safe to, no need to. Do you want to write something? Do you feel complete in it? We can really kind of close that loop. We always feel like it's just always going to be that gaping wound. Okay.
I lost you.
Oh, you're
trying
back.
to get this working again.
You're back. Yeah, you're back.
Hold on. I cannot hear you. There we go.
Okay, how's this now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, so but thank you so much. I mean, this is all so lovely. And what is your vision for you mentioned you have a vision for doing this kind of work. I know you coaching, and I guess I don't know anything about you.
Yes. My vision is to support women and especially moms, primarily moms, to heal and whole and understand that forgiveness and grace of self. They're not broken. There's nothing wrong with them. Know that they're not alone. And I do energy work. I do breath work, healing, but my music and dancing.
Oh, nice.
So I want to include a dance modality that energy medicine in it.
Oh, yes.
And then
my daughter does that.
With intention.
Yeah.
For healing and coming back to your body.
Yes, absolutely. That's number one.
Because we store emotion in our bodies.
Yeah.
Finding to release. And it just brings me so much joy. And joy is a radiant circuit. It's our birth rate.
Yeah.
And often feel like it's something else has to happen for us to be happy. It's a choice that comes from within.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so for that is I'm a creative as well. So creative really brings me well. And I oftentimes writing, drawing a heavy emotion that I'm still understanding or processing.
Yeah.
And then I've gone through a training for emotional intelligence training in the leadership program.
Mm-hmm.
So the mindset with these modalities is what is a profound shift that my clients have experienced. Profound shift by doing that way.
That's great. I love it. I love the sound and the music and the movement piece. Yeah, it's really powerful when you can utilize all these different approaches, right, to connect with people, because everything doesn't work for everyone, and some people, but I find that physical piece really important. I've been working with a man who's like really needing, and I said, you know what, I know this sounds completely outside for you, but I would love to see you go to a boxing gym. I think you need to get into your physical. I think you need to pound that punching bag, spar. I feel like you need to get underneath that brain. Like it's constantly thinking. I was like, I feel like you need to create physical energy. Also, like a lot of release. You need to release a lot of it. You're covering up with all of that rationalizing and strategizing and like constantly analyzing all the things, it's just like, get physical.
Yes, one of the really things that I started doing. There was a song I go to, Prodigy. It's called my Bishop. And every time I get frustrated, usually with my, which is not my husband, I would put it on. Just, and that really shifts. Or I'll put salsa music on and just really infuses the joy out of me. When I'm feeling stuck or whatever, really go to music. When I car or at home and use music so much in my
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like when I first started my YouTube channel, I started workout dance
Oh,
where
nice. I'll have to check it out.
it was just intuitive. I Alexa play workout music, so whatever would come on, I just record myself doing a workout, but I was playing dance with the workout. So it was
Nice.
actually dance, but with weights,
Okay.
and then just moving thematic what my body needed at that time, and sometimes
Okay.
songs would come up that would evoke an emotion, and that's the one I would post, and I would write about the importance of music and using music to help relieve. That's kind of how it started. And I got some criticism from family members that made me shut down,
Hmm.
and I stopped doing it because I'm not good enough or whatever. And so I'm inspired now being back into this healing of knowing that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And when people criticize you or judge you, something within this self is willing to accept or comprehend or haven't had any kind of closure or healing themselves, it's not about me. And in that moment, I realized, gosh, why did I stop doing that? It brought me so much joy. My daughter, even the same day I found out about the criticism, my daughter said, "Moms, I'm so proud of you." I'm like, "What are you proud of me for?" I see you doing this workout. You're getting in shape. You feel good. You feel good about yourself, and you're inspiring other women to do the same. Because I had friends telling me it really inspired me to put on the music when I was feeling this heavy emotion to dance it out, and that's because of your video. So thank you for giving me that freedom.
It's great. I love it. See, I know. And honestly, I always say that our children are our door, We can hold open the door and we can step through that door, but we have to just give ourselves permission to do it. And because our kids are freer than like we were. They're freer like we were. So that's really great. And I think, like, as I said, I think when you really sink into your soul, you really have done this so many times. The last thing that you want to do in this lifetime is to, get small, because you're here to actually expand. So it makes no sense to not live in, from your joy. It makes no sense, because also we have a lot of feelings. We catch feelings when we look at content online, and that's true too. It's normal. Like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's crazy. Wow, that's weird. That's fun. It's all the things. So it's funny how we expect people not to feel that way towards us. It's like, it's just what we do. Also, we sometimes don't like things. We don't have to know anything about the person. It's nothing to do with the person. It's just a preference. Do you like this color? No, I like that one. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but we deeply internalize it, especially when it's family. It's so layered and all that kind of stuff. So I completely understand that. That makes all the sense. But all of your gifts are coming from you being you and doing you and expressing you. All of the gifts will come through that portal. That's the channel, that's the door to step through, because you already know what's on the other side. That's what you were moving away from, But I've also learned that it's even less like like moving away from something is less for me, and it's more like I'm just moving towards. It's moving towards. I'm just walking towards my light. I'm walking that way, and everything that is a match to that is going to come and co-create with me. That's actually what I want. That's what everyone else wants. That's what we all want. We want to have like playtime with people. Also interested in like creating, their bliss. That's what we want. But everyone that's like, no, I don't think you should, is really not for me. But none of those people are for me, So whether they're my family or anyone, they're definitely not for me. Yeah. It's not more complicated than that. You know what I mean?
There's freedom there, right?
Oh, 100%. That's it. I mean, think about all the most famous women in history. Like, they were not permission seekers. They were the permission. And those are the ones that we admire, that, of course, this nonsense of like, is this okay for you? Does it work for you? Are you all right with this? Do you like this? Like, who is that? That wasn't even an old version of us. That was like something else. That wasn't even us ever. Yeah, whatever. People pleaser. when you see young,
good.
yeah, when you see young kids playing around together, I mean, they're freestyling it, and I think that's why they're before 8. And when I do my creative meditations, I always point people towards before 8, because this is the whole thing. Is like by 8, we really have decided who we are, and then we spend the rest of our adult life trying to prove it. So if you pick an experience before 8 that was difficult, what was the narrative? But then also pick some good ones. And what were those narratives? Like, wow, I'm really smart. Wow, I'm really strong. Wow, I can achieve things. Like, we also had good experiences. So we just actually neutralize the other one and say, like, okay, that was difficult, but that wasn't even true. Was it true though? No, it wasn't true. It's not true that I wasn't good or that I wasn't worthy. Like, that wasn't true. Makes sense I had that reaction, but not true. All these other ones are completely the truth. I'm taking in all those. That's my new narrative. I'm fun. I'm funny. I'm like magical. I'm powerful. I'm enjoyable. People love being around me. Money loves hanging around me. Money's easy for me. Like, whatever we have resistance around, like, I didn't have any of those narratives before 8 years old. No, my truth was this. And that's still true today. So it's about rewriting all that stuff. You know what I mean? And the problem is, like, you have everyone out there who's not doing this kind of work. They're not our people. Like, they have all their people. We can still see them at Thanksgiving.
Ground yourself first before you go.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes. I get into my bubble.
Yeah, and you said something that really is, I want to just point it out again because it's so important seeing an event as neutral.
Yeah.
Neutralizing the judgment that you had about yourself. Neutralizing the story that we made up about something that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, you just ask yourself, is it true? Because nothing is ever true when it's something that's so definitive, like you're not this, you're not everything, you're not like that. It's just not true. Could I have been more? Could I have made a better decision? Yeah. Could I? Sure. Absolutely. That can also be true. But the other part is not true. You know what I mean?
Yes,
No.
that's where grace comes in.
Yeah, it's just ask yourself, think about one wounding thing that follows you around, like when you're secretly indulging yourself in a sad story, you go to that one thing, right? And then just like break it apart and go, is that true though? Like, be the other person and enter the scenario and just be the silent witness, So, this idea of like all the roles, like the judge and the jury and the victim and the witness and like all these different roles that we play. It's just like, okay, hold on, freeze, everyone freeze. Like, I'm going to speak to this person over here. Is it true? Like all of ourselves that can really gang up against us. All these are the split off parts. But when we collect them all, I can never be divided. I'm always for me. I'm never going to go against myself.
What came up for me when you shared that was, what would you tell a friend? And what advice would you give them if they were telling you a story that you're telling yourself?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's easier for us to give advice than to actually take it for us.
Yeah.
So a gentle reminder. Like, love yourself the way you love your friends and your loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also we really truly can't take someone where we haven't met ourselves. That's just book knowledge. Like, let me find it online. Oh, ChatGPT says this. That's one approach, but we can't really lead where we haven't yet gone ourselves, So I always tell myself that's my incentive. It's like, if I want to help people be brave, then me first. That's why this platform, I just love it. It's like, as you had an inspiration and you're following it and boom. And that's the thing. It's leading to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Everything is aligned. Everything is co-created and like synchronistic. It has to be like that without any attachment, like zero attachment to any outcome. I'm only going to do this if 100 people show up, or I'm only going to do videos if I get this many likes. It's like, already dead in the water. You just do it for the pure following your bliss. And then the next thing happens. And then, you know what I mean? It's more fun. We can't ever be hurt by what anyone says or doesn't say or anything, because we're doing it for our own joy of the creation. And then we create something else and something else.
And it
And it
opens up
opens up
space when you're
space when you're
following,
following,
when you're
when you're
listening to
listening
the
to the
voice, the
voice, the
inner
inner
soul.
soul.
Yeah.
It
It
opens up
opens up
opportunities
opportunities
and a
and a
space that
space
you're
that
like,
you're
oh my
like, oh my
gosh,
gosh,
had I
had
not
I
done
not
that
done
one
that one
thing,
thing,
these
these
5, 10,
5, 10,
15
15
things would
things
not
would
have
not have
opened up
opened
for
up for
me,
me,
which
which
are
are
bringing
bringing
fulfillment into
that
your
into
life.
your life.
Yeah. And that's that piece with the intuitive guidance system. I mean, there's a whole process I've really developed just from my own need to like find my center and follow, my intuition, like moving past all of the stuff that comes in to interfere. And now it's amazing how I just quickly know, like, I need to go talk to that person, or no, I don't think I need to go to that event, or, and feel good, like anchored, like, and that feeling of like, oh, I just feel like lost, or I feel stuck. I'm like, mm-mm, because it's just like the GPS thing, and plus AI. I mean, it will always redirect you from where you are. When you get lost, you don't insist on going, how did I get so lost? I need to recreate to figure out how I got lost. You're just like, okay, wait, I'm lost. Where do I need to go? Where am I? I'm going here. Let's go. That's all you ever do. But when you're actually using your intuitive guidance system, that's all you ever do. You don't need to go back to your childhood and revisit crazy people and all that. It's like, I'm like this, and all the labels and all the over identification with different versions of ourselves that we would never choose again. So, like, I don't need to meet them and talk to them again. I talk to the true me, the essence of me, that was beyond any labels or any whatevers, and that's all that I ever talk to. That's just my soul, my soul, my soul, my soul. My soul is always, where I need to be, and it knows where I want to go already. Exactly the most efficient, most divinely inspired way to get there. So now when it's just like, this is strange, it feels like a detour, I find out later it's so not a detour. Thank God I went that route and did that thing, because it brought me this thing which I could never have encountered if I'd gone like, no, I must go this way. I have really learned to just take my foot off the gas or brake, whichever one I feel compulsed to do. Just like, wait a minute. No. This is the way it's supposed to go. And it's hard, right? Because the ego is like, we know the best. We have control. We have all this information. Use the information. I mean, it's just weird how we always have to manage that compulsive thinking. It's intense. But if you go back to the little you, the teenager, I always tell people it's those two. By your 20s, you're already getting lost. But the little you before 8 and the teenage you, what starts to wake up again, it kind of, that's all of that behavior. It's just like, wait a minute, like there's some really beautiful truth in that version of ourselves. Yeah, like those two versions of ourselves, like we were the shit. We really knew. We really, yes. That's why people are afraid of teenagers. They're terrifying because they have so much, whoa, self-assuredness, but also that awkwardness at the same time.
I love
I love
that.
that.
Because I
Because
have a
I have a
13 and a
13 and a
12-year-old right
12-year-old
now.
right now.
So,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you get the double dose.
yes.
Yes.
And I have a
I have
boy
a
and a
boy and a
girl.
girl,
So
so
I know
I know
they're
they're
in the
in the
same at the
same
same time.
time.
So
So
gently
gently
guiding them
guiding them
Yeah.
and
and
not
not
shaming or
shaming or
blaming
blaming
them.
them.
I think
I
it's
think
so
it's so
important because
important
I
because I
felt
felt
shamed and
shamed and
blamed.
blamed.
Well, that
Well,
was the
that was the
story that
story
I
that I
chose,
chose.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and it
And it
prevented me
prevented
from
me
really
from
showing up.
showing up.
And I
And I
started putting
started
it
putting
all and
all and
dimming the
dimming the
light
light
because there
because
was
there
also
was
a
also a
story. I was
story. I
too
was
much
too
for
much
people.
for people.
Right.
I was a
Yeah.
I was a
burden.
bird.
And
And
this
this
exercise
exercise
really
really
reminded
reminded
me of
me of
just
just
how much
how
joy
much
I
joy I
brought
brought
people,
people,
Yes.
how much
how much
light I
light
had
I
in
had in
me,
me,
how
how
much
So
much
much.
confidence,
confidence,
and
and
knowing
know
that I
that I
was
was
divinely
divinely
guided and
guided and
protected.
protected.
Yes. I know. It's so true. I love that so much. And our children really are that living example. That I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, we have children. If we're here, regardless of whether we have our own children, if you're here on the planet, you were someone's child, you came through someone, and you were their invitation also to remember. That's why our kids are so confronting, because they remind us of everything. They're trying to wake us up and from that deep sleep we've been in. and make us remember to have courage, make us remember that everything is possible, or make us remember not to take life seriously. Remember to laugh and remember to cry when you want to and need to. Like to remember, they're here to wake us up. Yes. And instead it can wake up feelings of insecurity and lack and all that. So we just start like putting the lid on, and then that becomes the narrative and the transfer, and then that opportunity. And then till, we wake up later in life, whenever we wake up, it's a good moment. It's the idea of like the best time to plant a tree was today and 10 years ago. The best time to wake up from this illusion is right now and probably 30 years ago, but it's fine. We're here, I love it. Your kids are blessed to have you. What a beautiful mother. I mean, in every sense, like just this living example of like what a glorious woman looks like. That's what your kids are imprinting in their minds. You're not some woman that's cowering or just tired. Like so many of my friends are like, I'm just so tired all the time. Oh, like waiting for it to be over. I'm like, well, you got a long wait because we're all living into our 90s. You better pace yourself, But not having joy, like, wow, to live every day with this feeling of like, oh God, I just made it through the day. I'm so tired. That life force, getting your life force back is everything. Yeah. And once you experience it again in the fullness of what it is, like you do not like give that away for anything, right? Nope. Not for any man, any job, like not for anything. Mm-mm.
Yes, that
Yes, that
is
is
where
where
you
you
light up
light up
Yeah.
and
and
you
you
shed the
shed the
light
light
and you
and you
encourage
encourage
them
them
to
to
share their
share their
light
light
and
Yeah.
to
and
get
to get
curious as
curious as
to
to
what you
what you
have,
have,
right? It's like
right?
they
It's like
lean
they
in, they're
lean in,
like,
they're
hey,
like,
what are
hey,
you
what are you
doing
doing
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
that's
working for
working
you?
for you?
Yeah. Yeah. And also to see your parents begin again. I mean, my mom was like amazing. She had 7 kids. We were 8. She raised 7 of us. And I mean, this woman, she's 89 now. And so many careers, so many different things. Like she was always like trying new things, doing new things. I mean, that's my lead, you know? And that's what your kids are seeing. Like, wow, remember when mom did, when you think about it at the end and look back, they were like, yeah, remember that when my mom just like started to do, like, this is now what they're going to use as their guiding light, right? Yeah, it's gonna, in their dark times when they need inspiration or they need a template, that's what you're giving them. And that's what I always tell my friends. I was like, listen, I have been a single parent, I have done all the things, I get it, and it's okay. Just know while you're feeling that kind of way, there is another huge, massive reality that you can tune into right now to just start bringing that life force back online. Just allow yourself like 5 minutes a day, the juiciness of just playing. It's free. Just play. Go into your imagination and like, what would be your ideal conditions? Just feel what that is. What would your body feel like? What would your life look like? Like just play in that space. Just 5 minutes a day. Honestly, it really starts to help people. They start realizing like, yeah, I actually prefer something that's not this. But it's scary, when we start to acknowledge that what we really prefer. Like I always tell people, the two things when you become, that come together, you become dangerous. What you really want and knowing that you deserve it. Like you become dangerous and unstoppable. Like literally, like what you know it from a feeling state. Like sometimes people know I know I want this, but then they don't feel like they deserve it. Or like, I deserve, like that's entitlement, different. I deserve to have, it's like very different. That deep knowingness, living from your full worth and what you want, like there is no stopping someone. They'll just go up, over, around just to keep moving, And everything that's not at that frequency will just spin out of their life. That's why I always tell people I work with that are like, I'm afraid of what it means for my relationship. I said, don't be afraid. Just keep rising as you feel your energy rise. Notice it, allow it, embrace it, and keep going in that direction. Don't make any sudden moves. You don't need to get divorced. You don't need to make a decision about a marriage. Just keep doing you, being you. chances are he'll spin right out of your life. You don't have to do anything. Or when you finally get to a point where you feel you need to, you'll be able to, because you'll have built all this capacity. It will come from love. There's nothing more to be mad about. There's nothing more to forgive. Like, you just come from a different place. So that's why I say, don't worry about it. Don't be afraid of it. It's the same thing as when women see someone really fit, but who works out like crazy, like with weights, and like, oh, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I'm like, honey, you've been sitting on your couch for the last 5 years. Don't worry. There's no danger of you looking like that woman. Just move in the direction.
There was something you said that reminded me when I would think about putting myself out there. Before I did these workout videos, for example, I would get so scared. I'm like, I'm out of shape. I don't look sexy. But when I focused out with my intention to serve, I was able to lean into the fear and do it anyway.
Yes, that part. Yes. That is the most powerful thing ever. Powerful. Like, just ain't nothing and no one that can get over you like that, because you're not here for them. It's not for you. Move on. Watch something else. And everyone else that's for you will find you. That's beautiful. I hope you're going to make them again.
Yes, I'm going to start again. You're going to shift.
Yay.
And yesterday, I was looking at these my soul cards, and I said, what is my next step for me to launch my business? And I got this card, Joy, and it has a woman dancing. And it looks like a Latina woman, just like me. And I was like,
yeah, that.
I heard you. Okay, I'm going to stop asking. I hear it.
Yes. Honestly, like your ancestry, woo, it's powerful, powerful. You just tap into that inner warrior, like that. Ooh, the stories from your lineage, like it's all there. It's completely all there. And the thing is like we have been just such products of this oppressive, environment, whether we're women or women of color, whatever it is, combination thereof. I know Cherokee on my dad's side, like they didn't even have their names on wedding certificates. It just said Cherokee Maiden. No, they were nameless. They were just married for their oil rights, which was my grandfather also got his hands on oil rights through marriage. I mean, it's just, so there's all these generational layers, of oppression. And then here comes you, and here comes your daughter, In breaking those cycles, it takes a minute, but there is this spirit in you. You're just not having it. I can't not dance. I can't not move my body. I can't not feel this joy. It's coming out. Like, yes. Yes. Thank God. Yes.
Yes. Hallelujah. For clarity and listening. I've known this about me for the longest time. And yet I still am doubting. Up until now, I was doubting. And not knowing, afraid of how to look or how to do it. Yeah. But when I trust myself and I lean into my body and the music and just being free, I get compliments. I was like, oh, well, I'm not a professional dancer by any means, but I feel amazing when I just let go.
Yes, that's everything. I love it. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna send you info for our retreat in Hawaii. It's in June. Oh, it's gonna be powerful. It's all about the permission slip. It's all about one of the nine most powerful vortexes in the world, on the hills of Mauna Loa. Oh, it's just amazing. Honestly, I was like, don't come if you're not ready to shift. If you're afraid actually of what will happen when you shift, you're not ready. Just stay home. Yeah. It's powerful when and honestly, it's the most beautiful gift to our children is, people put it all in the money and the accomplishments, and it's not. What they have is the template, that's what they have to step into when they get lost, when they get afraid, when they forget. That's your legacy. is your entire lived experience poured into them through the example of your own bravery, your own courage, your own full expression. Like, that's the permission. That's what they need. You can't buy that. Like, no trust fund's going to give them that. That is gold. Yes.
Remember that they model us. They don't do what we ask them to do. They model what we do.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
what a gift and a blessing and a pure joy to have you here today.
Thank you.
And your knowledge and wisdom. I am called to go to a pyramid. I feel something will be activated in me going
Absolutely.
to a pyramid.
Yeah.
I'm listening to my intuition and making it a goal to go for my next birthday. Today's my birthday.
It's today is your birthday. Happy birthday. Amazing. This is the best present for you ever, to be doing like the thing that brings you the most joy. Where are you going to dance today? Are you have to go dancing today?
I'm going to dance right here.
Yes. Good. I love it. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm also called to open a center for family to come together and dance. As a mother and an older woman, I'm like, going to a club is this doesn't align anymore, but I wish there was a space that we can come together and not have to do with the ones that feel young now, right?
Yes.
The cost of the drinking. I just want to go and be able to express my joy and bring my children.
Yeah.
Yes. To dance as well.
I love that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. This is all the conversations that my daughter and I have all day long, just because she's a dancer and she's a performer and she's a musician and a performing artist and all that. And everything for her is about body movement, and how women have we've shut ourselves down. We're separate from our bodies, and when we locked back into that, it's on. It really is.
Yeah, and I think some people have grown up with suppressing their sexuality and sexuality.
Very much. Yes. Oh, mostly.
And so I think music, moving really connect with that. And there's, I don't know, there's something empowering about feeling that sexuality and sexuality in your body. Just gives me so much power.
Yes, I love it. I have quite a few friends who got into pole dancing for the very same reason. They just absolutely, these are feminists. These are women who are so far from that. And they just get so much out of watching themselves, allowing themselves, to be able to feel that kind of sensuality. It's just in power. Yeah. And that expression. So...
Just now everything's coming together. Connecting dots in my head. How to dance. I love it.
That's good. Thank you so much. I'm going to look you up on YouTube, and I'm going to be waiting for your videos. I will watch them.
Yay! Okay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.
I will. My daughter offered to cook me breakfast this morning. I was like, it's so early. I don't eat that early. I have to go to school, but I love
what a good girl. Yes, that's amazing. You're such a good mom.
And I also still have moments that's such great moments, but giving myself that grace, like we said, and cleaning it up.
Yeah,
it's all there is.
I think that is actually, yes, I feel like that is actually when we become the parent. That pulling it back and say, listen here, that is not the version of me that I want, so I'm acknowledging. That's beautiful. Wouldn't we be different if our parents had done that every single time? So different. We're doing it now.
Yes. And it's
birthday.
No better time than now. The only time we have is now. Even when you're in tomorrow, the moment you're ever in is now.
So I
ask you. Yes. So I'm asking everybody out there. Know that you're not. Be bold. Step into your truth with neutrality, with grace, forgiveness. Share this live. Share this video. Spread the word. Lead with love. That's all you want is love. Love is powerful and it can unite. It can dissolve fear. It can dissolve loneliness. Step into your true, authentic self. And that is being brave. looking
looking
into the
into the
shadows,
shadows,
welcoming
welcoming
the
the
knowledge of
knowledge
your
of your
childhood,
childhood,
who you
who you
already
already were.
Step
Step
back
back
into that.
into that.
Till
Till
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
I hope
I
that you
hope
have
that you
a
have a
blessed,
blessed,
beautiful
beautiful
day.
day.
And for
And
me
for
on
me
my
on my
birthday, I
birthday,
hope
I
that
hope
you
that
have
you
all
have
the
all the
gifts,
gifts,
presents that you
presents
have, that you
that you
deserve, and
deserve,
that
and
you
that you
want and
want
you
and you
desire.
desire.
Remember to be
Remember to be
kind to
kind to
yourself,
yourself,
be
be
kind to
kind to
others,
others,
and
and
spread joy.
spread joy.
Till next
Till next
time.
time.